So my very first chargeback came 6 or 7 years ago, back when I was doing branding and web design. I remember I was, charging about $4,000 for an entire logo and fonts and, branding colors and then the website. So you were getting a pretty good deal, right? And I was very professional, very, very great designer at that point. And so this lady hired me to do her branding, her logo, and her website. And we had a great working experience. She loved her logo. She loved her website. She sent me emails gushing about the whole project. And at a certain point, we finished up her project and she sent me a little testimonial, and then I delivered her files and we went on our merry way. And it was a great customer experience, or so I thought. A month later, I log into my PayPal account and I see a negative $4,000 charge withdrawn from my Facebook or from my PayPal account. And I don't know if you ever have it happen to you, right? If you had your a chargeback, but it's in these huge red font. So it's PayPal account negative 4,000, and you see these very big, very red numbers, and it's just instantly high stress. And I was like, what in the world happened? Turns out she had filed a chargeback. And long story short, even though I had written documentation that the project was finished and she got all her files and everything, and her website was literally still running, even though I even had written proof that she loved everything, she ended up winning the chargeback. And I was out $4,000 and about 60 hours of labor that she had gotten for free. So in case you don't know what a chargeback is where I have a nice little definition because I wrote it down pretty clearly here. A customer can claim that a transaction was unauthorized or it was fraudulent, and then typically they'll get their money back and the business owner will have to eat the cost, which is what happened for me. And really, it's a huge issue. Chargebacks, refunds, things like this are a huge issue in the entrepreneur industry for two reasons. One, to be fair, there's a lot of marketers and business gurus out there who will make wild, extreme claims and then not deliver on it. And a customer will rightly feel cheated and will file a chargeback to get their money back. That's one way, and that's valid when it happens and it's fair. The other way that happens a lot more frequently, and as a business owner feels a lot more unfair, is where a customer will buy something from a business owner, whether it's a digital product, whether it's an actual product, whether it's a service, and the business owner will complete the project, ship the product, the person will download the deliverables. In my case, the person will file a chargeback, so then they'll end up with the product and their money back. And it's a really big issue that happens a lot in the female entrepreneur space. Right before we made this video, I went to just one Facebook group and I searched the word chargeback, and I took right at the top, there were 3 screenshots, and I'm just gonna throw them on the screen here so you can see. It just happens a lot. It's a big issue in our industry. And when it happened to me, when I got my first chargeback, I experienced such a range of emotions. I raged for a while. I was incredibly angry. I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of embarrassment. I had a lot of grief. And I really didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to. I really didn't feel like this is not talked about. And I think a lot of people don't talk about it in our industry because there's shame and there's embarrassment, and it's kind of a taboo thing. When really, if you're like most business owners, you're getting chargebacks unfairly. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to make this video just sharing some of the things I wish I knew before I had my first chargeback. When I went through my first chargeback experience, it was a really difficult period in my life. And I don't think I was fully prepared for the range of emotions that was gonna happen. I don't think I was prepared for the intensity of emotions that I was going through. It really did change me a little bit as a person because I had never encountered somebody that had so unfairly taken advantage of me before, right? To literally go to her website and see the website that I built and put hours and hours of labor into, to see that it was still running and she was still getting customers off of that, off of everything that I had done. It felt really unfair, and it did change me as a person. And so one thing that I wanna do is I wanna share this video from the perspective of both sides. That's something that wisdom has taught me, is that sometimes people really do make fair chargebacks, right? If a marketer promises the world and doesn't deliver, you should get your money back. right? And so I wanted to make this video, sharing both perspectives and offering tips for both. So whether you're the customer that feels that you got unfairly taken advantage of, or you're the business owner that feels you got unfairly charged back, here's what you should know. Number one, just breathe. Just take a breath. Right now, emotions are flowing. They're just flying so high. You probably can't even hear yourself think right now. If you're anything like me, the blood was like pounding in my brain and I was so angry. I had to go out and take a million walks because it was just, I had such experienced anger over the unfairness of it. But the reality is, even though you're stressed right now, you've got to breathe and you've got to understand that truly this too shall pass. And customers, if you're a customer who's filed a chargeback and you really want your money back, you also need to know, just as a little bit of perspective, that I probably spent $100,000 between marketers and business gurus and didn't see any results. You have to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. It took me a while to find a really good business coach and I had to spend a lot of money to get there. So just keep that in mind for perspective. And then also for business owners, let's keep some perspective too. If you want to be a business owner that survives for longer than a decade, longer than 5 years, you've got to learn to ride the highs and the lows, right? This is a low right now. You're experiencing your first chargeback and it can feel really unfair. But you've got to learn to ride those highs and lows or you're not going to be around in 10 years. That's the reality. You're going to have a lot worse problems than a chargeback. I empathize. I've been there. My first chargeback just devastated me, but you also got to learn to ride those highs and lows. So both cases, just take a breath. Emotions are flying high. Remember that this too will pass. Second point, be fair. And this goes for both of you, right? Whether you're the customer that feels unfairly taken advantage of, or you're the business owner that feels unfairly taken advantage of, you need to be fair and try to ask yourself where could they be right? Where could I be wrong? Where could they have a valid point? I've always done that. Even in the case where, this one was really unfair, it reminded me to have better contracts. That was a great learning lesson that I learned. It also gave me a little bit of business thick skin. A lot of us, when we're starting our businesses, we have just tiny little, very thin entrepreneur skin. And it gave me thick skin and made me a better business owner. As emotionally devastating as I was, I became a much better business owner after that experience. Having a little bit of empathy and realizing, okay, well, maybe this is how they're seeing it. What can I learn from that? Or what's a good thing that I'm coming out of this? Having some empathy and fairness to both sides goes a long way. And then third, you're gonna really need to compartmentalize your emotions. It's not to say you shouldn't feel your emotions, but it can feel really raw on either side. So if you feel taken advantage of as a customer, maybe you trusted this business guru and they didn't deliver the results they said they were going to, that can feel really, you can feel betrayed. You can be feeling maybe some shame. I know it can be just as emotionally devastating as it can be on the other side, where you're a business owner and you delivered the product and you delivered in good faith and they got their product and they got their money back too. Either way, it's emotionally devastating. It really is. And so you have to learn to compartmentalize that. You don't want to not feel it. We're not going to suppress it, but we're going to understand that, okay, our emotions over here, and then us dealing with the business practicalities is over here. So you need to do what you need to do, handle the chargeback, and you need to move on. Just a day in the life of a business owner, just a day in the life of a consumer, right? It happens. Oh, and business owners, this is a tip specifically for business owners specifically. Don't be a jackass to PayPal customer support or Stripe customer support. They have nothing to do with the chargeback. They're just processing, it from the consumer's end. Don't take your anger or your frustration out on customer support. That's not going to get you anywhere. In fact, the opposite has happened. I found that the kinder I am goes a long way. We'll just put it that way. I'm now a PayPal preferred customer. And that's one of the reasons why is that, going through that first chargeback, I just never have been a jackass. I've always been kind and it goes a long way. Kindness gets you very far. In summation, chargebacks are emotional. Let's normalize it. It happens all the time. There can be an element of abuse on either ends where people abuse it and get their product and the money, but then it goes the other way around too. So just understand that, it's normal. It happens in our industry. It actually happens more frequently in the entrepreneur industry than other industries. And a lot of it has to do with the lack of regulations in the entrepreneur industry. As a business owner, think about how can you make a better product, right? Use a situation like, say, how can I make my product better? How can I make my contracts tighter? What am I gonna learn from this? What am I gonna improve from this? As a consumer, do your research, right? Don't just impulse buy from a sales pitch. Do your research, read reviews, consume people's content, their free content for a while before you pay from them, before you buy from them. You need mentors, right? Just like you need customers. So don't let, a bad experience either way traumatize you, as tempting as it must, as it is in the moment. Learn from it, grow from it, don't get stuck in it. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you want me to make more videos like this video, maybe leave a comment if you're going through a chargeback or you've been through a chargeback. Share your story either way. We want to see that in the comments. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.